When you think of your job as a parent, how often are you focused on, the little things you have to do? You have to cook, you have to provide a roof over their heads, you have to drive them from one activity to the other. There's stuff you have to do. But when you're thinking about your role as a parent and the bigger, more meaningful things that you provide for your child besides food and shelter, education, I know that you probably want to set them up for success in life. You probably want to raise them to be good people, nice, kind, generous, people who care about others. But what does that mean about your role in that? How do you do that? How do you raise kids who have all those qualities, who care about other people, who are kind and good-hearted? And what role do you need to occupy in the moments when they kind of fall short? As we all know, children are on this journey to develop and evolve and become the adults that they're going to be. And as they're in that process, we understand they don't have all the tools developed yet, right? Their physical body is not fully developed. Their brains are not fully developed. Their emotional regulation, their emotional intelligence is not fully developed. And what that means is that on the way to becoming an adult who is kind and generous and caring, there are going to be times when they fall short. There are going to be a lot of times when they fall short. And how do you respond to that in those moments is actually super important. And it has a huge impact on their likeliness to actually grow up and become that adult that you envision and that they envision too. Because here's the thing, even as kids, try to remember this maybe from when you were a kid. Didn't you look up to older kids and admire them for their independence? There was all this stuff they could do that you couldn't do. And you had all these visions of yourself as a bigger kid. Doesn't matter how old you were, every milestone you reach as a child, there's a bigger kid that you admire, that you want to emulate. Maybe you want to emulate your parents. But in those moments when you mess up, when you fall short, that vision seems far away. Sometimes it can seem to a kid that it's never going to happen. Now, of course, as adults, we all know our children are going to grow up. It's kind of inevitable, right? There's not a lot that can stop that from happening. But children don't necessarily have that perspective yet. So to a child, in the moments when they are not at their best, when they've lost control, when they've disappointed, when they made a promise and didn't follow through, when they lied to you, they're acutely aware of the fact that they fell short. And in those moments, they're already feeling terrible about themselves, and they're already feeling like that vision they have of themselves is slipping through their fingers. So the question to you as a parent is, what can you do to reinforce that vision? What can you do to remind them, no, you still have that vision. You're still going to reach it. Can you, as a parent, step into a more mentorship type role with your kids as opposed to the bad cop, the law enforcer, the taskmaster, the chauffeur, the life concierge? What would happen? How do you think your relationship with your child would change if you could have trust in them that the fact that they mess up, maybe they mess up all the time, the fact that they may be rude to a lot of people, it means something's going on for them, and it's definitely part of our job to figure that out. But can you also hold that vision of them in their highest potential? In the darkest moments, in their worst moments, can you hold the vision of them in their highest potential? And if you can, what do you think that would do for them? How would that change how they feel about themselves? How would that change the likelihood of them actually stepping into that vision. Food for thought, and share with me in the comments what you think it would change.